The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. While people were listening to Jesus speak, he proceeded to tell a parable because he was near Jerusalem, and they thought that the kingdom of God would appear there immediately. So he said, "A nobleman went off to a distant country to obtain the kingship for himself and then to return. He called 10 of his servants and gave them 10 gold coins and told them, 'Engage in trade with this until I return.' His fellow citizens, however, despised him and sent a delegation after him to announce, 'We do not want this man to be our king.' But when he returned after obtaining the kingship, he had the servants called to whom he had given the money, and to learn what they had gained by trading. The first came forward and said, 'Sir, your gold coin has earned 10 additional ones.' He replied, 'Well done, good servant. You have been faithful in this very small matter. Take charge of 10 cities.' Then the second came and reported, 'Your gold coin, sir, has earned 5 more.' And to this servant too he said, 'You take charge of 5 cities.' Then the other servant came and said, 'Sir, here is your gold coin. I kept it stored away in a handkerchief, for I was afraid of you, because you are a demanding man. You take up what you did not lay down, and you harvest what you did not plant.' So he said to him, 'With your own words I shall condemn you, you wicked servant. You knew I was a demanding man, taking up what I did not lay down and harvesting what I did not plant. Why did you not put my money in a bank? Then on my return I would have collected it with interest.' And to those standing by he said, 'Take the gold coin from him and give it to the servant who has 10. But they said to him, 'Sir, he has 10 gold coins.' But he replied, 'I tell you, to everyone who has more will be given, but from the one who has not, even what he has will be taken away. Now as for those enemies of mine who did not want me as their king, bring them here and slay them before me.' After he had said this, he proceeded on his journey up to Jerusalem." The Gospel of the Lord. Lahang adlaw kanatong tanan. Now today's Gospel reading is actually in the Gospel of Luke, the immediate episode before Jesus entered triumphantly in Jerusalem, which we usually take into account the Palm Sunday liturgical celebration, the readings of which we actually take it from here. Now, what Jesus was telling here in today's gospel reading is a complex one, because it is not just the usual parable of the coins, but it is also set against the background of the man in the parable taking up the kingship, which is actually very much related to Jesus entering the Jerusalem, as Jerusalem is where the king is going to come. But the bottom line here is, it is precisely used within the perspective of the end part of the liturgical calendar, where we are reminded of the accounting that we have to make before the Lord. And since we are talking about here the gold coins that were given, practically the same to those who were recipients, the end part of it is where we have to also acknowledge. Because all of us are given so many gifts, graces, even talents. But it is up for us to use them and to put them into good use. But the process of putting all these things, gifts that God has given, is always undergoing certain what we call tests or trials. Just like putting money in the investment. Okay, there are always untoward incidents, or there are also favorable ones. But that is how we have to learn. Because God's gift always remains the same. It is in our way of using it that makes a difference. But sometimes we have to also feel that in the way that we use in good terms what He has given us, there are always people who would not be always connected or attuned with what that gift is for. But it doesn't mean it is taken away from us. It is just that we have to exercise it. After all, there is a time for giving the proper accounting. And as we are moving forward to that, we do not know really when. We have to be already practicing it and be always already, in the way of always and constantly aware of the effects that it has in our lives. And the bottom line of this is thanksgiving all the time. Thanksgiving always. Amen.